on a tangent there. What's the question? Oh.
Hi there, I'm Brenda, and welcome to our first segment of Makers Unleashed, brought to you by Dusty Workbench. We are here today with Angie. Welcome, Angie.
Thank you.
Our talented friend and graphic designer from Polly Pousta. Angie's unique creations and beautiful SVG files are amazing. She will be here today talking about how her process, what she's doing, and we hope this will be informative to you. So let's get started. Angie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
We're very happy to have you.
Yeah, and welcome to my home, my studio, my basement studio.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
So, Angie, can you tell us about your journey as an artist and how you got started with Polly Pousta?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've always liked design and art, and it's been a passion of mine for many, many years. And after completing my degree in graphic design and printing, and I also took another degree in web development, I then pursued a career in the printing industry, and I carried that for over a decade. And then in 2012, I shifted gears and I became a stay-at-home mom, and but I still did some freelance work where I did graphic designing for government agencies and different companies, during that time when I was raising young kids. But the problem with that was raising young kids takes a lot of energy, and it was very hard to focus professionally on that and taking care of my young kids. So I took a step back and I just decided to, really focus all my energy on my children.
Good for you.
Now, fast forward to 2017, it's funny, it all started with my dad. And what's interesting is back in 2017, it was my dad's birthday, a milestone birthday, and I wanted to get him something meaningful, and I thought about this, and I always, when he was growing up, he always carried these rocks in his pocket everywhere he went, and I always thought that was strange, but I kind of liked it. And he said it brought him good luck and relaxed him. And so I always remembered this. So I thought, if I can get him a gift that's kind of around that rocks, then I think that would be something he would cherish.
Absolutely.
So I Googled rock gifts. And up came this picture with like beautiful rocks in a way that I've never seen art before. And I was so drawn to this, and I was so inspired, and I thought, I think I can make a family tree for my dad using rocks, and I think he would appreciate that. And so my husband and my kids and we all went looking for rocks down at Petrie Island, and we started that journey, and there was so much involved in that, so much time, so much searching, so much planning for this one picture. And it really kind of made it even more special, and we were so all involved. And the day that we gave the gift to my dad, he was like so touched.
I bet.
And it was at that moment when I realized that I wanted to create meaningful art.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So, fun fact, Polly Pousta is a childhood nickname that my parents gave me. Nice. And it brings me back to a time when my childhood, when, life was carefree and full of inspiration and full of dreams. And that is basically the spirit that I want to capture in my art. And that is why I called it Polly Pousta.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Great anecdote? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anecdote.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no problem.
So Angie, your designs are quite unique in that you use unconventional, materials such as stones, driftwood, glass, to create your framed art. What inspired you to work with these materials, and what challenges have you faced in using them?
Yeah, so I mean, I love working with found material. You know, I get inspired from that. So, you know, an angle of a branch, I think of, a boat, land, so I get really inspired by using natural materials because I love the texture. Yeah. I love that it's found in nature. I love how it's not typically associated with art, so it's unique. I like the 3D aspect of it, and I actually like the journey that I go through to get those materials, such as going to the beaches, spending time outside, and gathering all these little. Yeah, it's just those materials. I find I like to reuse them for my art pieces.
And it makes everything unique, so
it's one of a kind. Yeah. Each piece is uniquely one of a kind.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Can you walk us through your creative process? So from coming up with the design idea to the finished product.
So I have these ideas in my head. I have a lot of ideas in my head, and my process is I draw everything. I sketch everything. I have so many pieces of paper with just doodles and ideas, and then once I, sometimes I'll do the designs right away if I feel like, okay, and then other times I'll wait because I'm missing material or I just don't feel like I have the right shapes. So when I do have the inspiration to go ahead, I kind of piece it all together. It's like kind of like a puzzle.
Right.
And so I have a ton of sea glass. I use stained glass. I use bark, twigs, wire. Wow. I mean, sand, you name it.
The limit.
Yep. Nice. And then I basically piece it all together. And then one of the things is that I walk away after it's all pieced together. I give it about an hour, and I come back and I think, is this right? Is this right? Sometimes it's more than an hour. Sometimes it's a day or two, and it could be a week. But it gives me time to kind of think, can I improve upon this? And once I say, okay, this is good, I then piece it all together, and then on to the next. Yeah.
You also sell. You also sell SVG files on Etsy, we see. Can you tell us a bit more about your digital designs and how they differ from your physical artwork?
Yeah, so like I said before, I'm a trained graphic designer, and so I really like to still, use that skill set that I've went to school for. And it's still inspired what's in my head, but now more in a file that I can sell to other people to use. Sure. And showcase in their home or sell at markets. And I love that aspect because it's an entirely different process. My art is very abstract, and my SVG files are very exact. So it's nice to toggle between the two. And with this, you have to be more precise. And with my art, my Pebble art and sea glass art, it's a little bit more freeing and a little bit more creative.
Well, they're both creative.
They're both creative, but people have to really, they can imagine themselves more with the other art because there's no face, there's no,
Right.
you can place yourself in it. right?
That's true.
Yeah, with this, it's pretty exact. That's a trailer.
Yeah, but once they do them, on the other side, if they use your SVG file, they could put their own colors, they could put their own own creativity to it.
That's exactly it. I like how supplying a canvas, and they can make it their own, which is kind of cool too.
Absolutely, and people do appreciate that too, I'm sure. So next question. So next question would be, your business has a strong focus on sustainability and using the eco-friendly materials. Why is that important to you? I think we mentioned it a little bit earlier on, but how do you integrate these values into your work? So you were saying that you use your twigs and your glass and stuff.
Yeah, so one thing is that I love taking, I guess, essential trash and creating art out of it. I feel like as an artist, I like to, be socially responsible that way. And, to take something that is not nice looking and to bring it to life in a beautiful way is something that I aspire to do on a daily basis.
That's great. That is amazing. I love your concept. I love the way you work.
Thank you.
Also, how do you market and promote your business? Do you do it online and offline, or what strategies have been most effective for you in terms of the Etsy and the actual wall art?
So I do use social media. I use Facebook and Instagram, and I do have an Etsy site. Yes. And I do promote through those channels. Okay. Usually I put up a picture, and basically it's because I just want to share my art with the world. Or whoever follows me, whoever wants to hang out, because it's an outlet for me, because one of the things that I do love about, I do love the stuff I make, I'm proud of it, it makes me feel happy, so I want to share that with other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And for those of you who haven't already done so, follow Angie on her social media platforms. You won't regret it. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists or entrepreneurs who are just starting out? So, like, what have been some of the biggest lessons you've learned along the way?
Well, I think, for any aspiring artists or entrepreneurs, I think, you just have to stay true to your values, but also learn new skills and adapt and be flexible, and take chances, and don't get in your head too much, like some artists are just so in their head and they don't produce. You get stuck, and there's time when I get stuck too, of course. But the best thing to do is just to start work. Just forget about it and just start creating, and you'll sometimes produce wonderful designs, and sometimes they won't be wonderful. Yeah. But the thing is that one piece for me always inspires the next piece. And the other piece of advice is work with people, taking custom orders and stuff. And I feel like it's always a challenge because you're trying to convey their message in a picture. And I love that because I get to, really, I guess, empathize with my customers, which I've always been a big empathizer. So I feel like that's a very strong suit of mine. The other piece of advice would be, life is a journey, right? So, when you have ups, there's lows. When you have lows, there's ups. So, just get out there, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid of failure, because the only person that will fail is your mind. So just try to get out of your head and
good advice.
And give it your best.
Absolutely.
And you can't fail if you give it your best.
You'll never know unless you try, right? They always say.
Exactly.
It's true. Exactly. Good advice. Mm-hmm. Thank you. can you possibly give us a sneak peek of any upcoming projects that you're working on, or just to give us an idea of what's coming up?
Well, actually, I am in the middle of prepping my fall and winter collections. They're at the right at the beginning stage of the planning and the design concept, drawing, and all that stuff. So I can't really share that right at this point.
No problem.
But eventually,
if you want to know, you stay tuned. Yeah. Good things are coming from Polly Pousta. Finally, we would like to make these interviews a regular feature to help others achieve making their hobby into a business. With that in mind, if you had a chance to rewind and start over, is there anything you would do differently? And if so, what part would you change?
So my short answer is I wouldn't change a thing.
Cool.
No.
Love it.
I don't live in the past.
That's perfect.
I look forward and I do learn from my lessons, but I always feel like, you know, it all shapes who you are. So you know, that's anything that happens in your life, it happened. There is a reason, but it shapes you. So be proud of that, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our interview with Angie at Polly Pousta. We hope you enjoyed learning more about her creative process, the unique materials she uses, and her focus on sustainability and eco-friendly practices. It was fascinating to hear about Angie's journey as an artist and entrepreneur, and we hope that her insights and advice will inspire others like you who are looking to follow a similar path. Don't forget to check out Polly Pousta's work in the Ottawa Artisans stores. They have 5 locations, working on a 6th. And also, I can tell you they're at the Place d'Orleans Mall, Billingsbridge Mall, the Bayshore Shopping Center, Tanger Outlets, Saint Laurent Shopping Center, and also they're opening up to a theater near you. It's actually at the Rio Center, mid-June, I believe. So keep an eye out for Polly Pousta's lovely art. And if you can have a chance to subscribe to all of her social media platforms, you will see what's coming next. Okay, links will be in the description below. I want to personally thank Angie for being our first interviewee, and lovely to meet you and be in your home. Thank you for having us here, and we wish you well on everything, Etsy, stores, and everything.
Thank you. And thank you so much for taking the time to, you know, get to know me better, my business better, and you guys have been great friends, and I appreciate you guys so much, so thank you.
It was our pleasure. Thank you so much. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time on Makers Unleashed.
See ya.